Hi, I'm Pernigo, and this is another CSGO video analysis. This time I actually went and looked at the CS Mapmakers subreddit and found a couple maps that were asking for feedback. So this is Renovation by, let me see, Mythics 13. I believe that's the gentleman's name. In fact, if I go back, I will tell you exactly. Yeah, that's him. Okay, so Mythics 13 posted, presumably it was him, asking for feedback. This is a wingman hostage map. Can you get more niche than that? I don't know. But I'm interested in all sorts of modes, and sometimes I play some hostage, sometimes I play some wingman. So, what do I have in terms of feedback for this one? Well, it's sort of like a modular, sort of vertical map. There's actually a lot of space, a lot of nooks and crannies, and I feel like people who are willing to get interested and invested, really stuck into this map, will be able to find all sorts of interesting ways to, do stuff. And, from a graphical fidelity standpoint, it's okay. I like the 69. I'm a big fan of that. I don't know about the color scheme, but that's not really my area of expertise. So I'll let somebody else, like FM Pone, if he ends up taking a look at the map on one of his Wednesday streams, I'm sure he wouldn't mind doing that, since he's certainly looked at worse, I'll put it that way. So I'll just give my typical layout and potential balance critique. If you don't know who I am, that's because I don't really make CSGO videos. I'm trying to. So you can let me know how I do. I am a Brood War mapmaker, and I've been doing that for 15 years now, even though I'm only, I guess I'm 24. I don't know. I forgot my age. So with that out of the way, I guess I'll begin my feedback. So, this is CT Spawn, predictably. I wish I could mute my bot ally. There you go, he's muted. What can I do about... Oh yeah, I got an infinite ammo 2. So, what can I talk about with CT Spawn? There's many ways to go. You got this way over here, that way over there, that way over there. Now, I'm grateful that you don't need to pop out this glass door, but it is the furthest away from CT Spawn. So there's already an idea, at least, this might have been accidental, but what I'm getting at is, even though it's very subtle, the idea is if you want the quickest way, you'll have to make noise and telegraph that maybe you could be going there. But at the same time, I don't know how genuine this strategy even is, because I mean, on most rounds, like a train and stuff, people just start fucking popping windows left and right, and they don't really care. So I don't know if it would actually end up being useful at all to really know. You could shoot it from far away and then lurk in later. So I don't really know whether or not it's super useful. But I like the thought, at least, if that was the thought, indeed. Now, thankfully, you don't have to jump up these stairs. There's some jittering, but that's probably an end-stage polish. And I guess there's not really a mid in these maps, right, because they're wingmen. But that's like a cool shotgun, close-range area, SMG area. This is something that I noticed while I was playing, is this tool lock box. Oh, okay, I thought that was a gun. Weird-looking gun. You actually can't very easily make it up here. I did that accidentally, I swear. Or no, I think what I wanted to do before was yeah, so it's kind of tricky to get up here. I guess less tricky than I thought. You might consider, moving this up a little bit, or maybe moving the van a little bit more. I get the idea, because you'll see where T-spawn is. It's actually really easy for you to get rushed if you're dilly-dallying around. So it makes sense for this cover to be here. I guess I'll do show impacts. And show, what is it, grenade trajectory? Okay, cool. And I think in general, it makes sense for it to be here. I like that you can boost up on this from the T side, because T-spawn is literally right here. So we'll see our bot friends having a pool party. And you spawn up here. I haven't yet seen a spawn that's down here, but I'm not sure. If that is possible, I would suggest removing that, because it obviously locks you out of being able to rotate here very fast. And since this is such a compact map, it's not really small. It's just everything's consolidated on top of itself. I would strongly recommend that that isn't a thing. But I don't know if it is. I'm just throwing that idea out there. So if you didn't put that in there, congratulations. I commend you for your game sense. So yeah, you can boost up here really quickly. You can just do a quick check to see if anybody's still there. Hopefully you don't die. You do it backwards like this or whatever while you're moving, so it's less likely that they dupe you. But I think typically you should be able to, quickly get information that way. It's an information play. You like send one guy over here and he checks to see if they're holding an angle this way or if they've already left, in which case that's also information, right? So again, information play. And you're still pretty close. I forgot to do this. I should have had an exec for this, but I don't yet. That'll come with time. I think you're still reasonably close to rotating over here because the hostages are all on the second floor, which I'm not sure if I agree with, but at the same time, again, a very compact map. So let's go over, let's stick with the CTs for now, and then we'll go over the Ts. I just felt like it was important to note this because the CTs and T spawns are both very, very close to each other, and I don't know if I like that, actually. I think it's an interesting thing, you know, because the spawn locations do influence how like early rushes are going to play out. I can see rounds ending in like 10 seconds on this map, depending on who goes where and if they both have the inkling to go that way. This is a cool little neat area. You actually have vision of the hostage. He's over there somewhere. And you can like come up here and shoot him in the skull and lose all your money. You can try and hit some people. If they're like, if you're like a T, and you're over here, like say you've rotated through the building or through CT spawn even, like that information player, you can come up here and lurk and watch this angle. And I think that's a neat little adaptation. So it's like a way for you to watch without worrying too much about your... Like if your other guy has the other hostage, then you should be able to do it. And even if he doesn't, even if you're alone, this is actually a pretty cool clutch spot because you're obviously really close to right over there where the hostage rescue zone is. And so you can watch this guy, and if you get the notification that the hostage has been rescued, you can just walk over here and hold an angle, maybe over here. Especially if you have an op. I don't know how many people buy ops in this game mode. But you can hold an angle there. You can hold an angle here. 3,000 penalty. Holy shit. I wonder if I just die after a while. So yeah. That's something. So I figured I would point that out. This room here, I guess we'll just, I don't know what we would call this. CT entrance. CT entrance is, it's got some interesting little cubby holes for Ts that are able to like smoke this off. Maybe there's like a creative smoke you can do because obviously Ts come in through here with this being their spawn. So let's do this. And we should have grenade trajectory on, so we should be able to do this relatively. You're obviously safe crossing unless they're already here. So I guess you'd have to like jiggle peek this or something. I don't know. Maybe you can do this. Well, that's something, but I was hoping for a way to smoke out here so that you could get into a good shotgun spot. This just smokes them off from being able to enter, which I guess is a cool enough shotgun spot, because then you can just be here, right? You know, they're smoked off from this angle. You just sit here and shoot them in the skull. I don't know if I don't know how I feel about that. I guess this would be a too much of a T-sided area if you could smoke that from here. So that's probably fine. You can always like pop flash or whatever, and you know, just like right here, assuming you're able to cross without getting gunned down by like a rushing CT or whatever. You should be able to just walk in here and, or sorry, walk here, pop flash. Then once you're out, give him a kiss. So I don't really see anything too wrong with that. So the typical rotation that I was seeing was these two doors are shut by default. This is another way you could peek in from that angle with the op that I gunned this guy in the head for earlier. And the other hostage is way far away here. So I don't know if I agree with this hostage placement, but there's no way into this room besides here. So we're already in an interesting predicament. I was wondering if there's a way to get up here, but it doesn't look like it. We can't even jump off. Oh, we can jump off there. But we can't jump off over here? Oh, we can. I was just an idiot. What else is new? Well, we got a grill here. We can make some burgers. I'm pretty hungry right now, actually. So there doesn't seem to be much of a skybox over here. Like, we can throw nades everywhere. Yeah, the skybox is pretty high. Okay. Interesting. I wonder, there's probably a lineup from CT spawn to this window. What is the timing for that, I wonder? This is like really... I'm probably a little all over the place with the minutia of some of the stuff that I'm asking about. So we'll do 32... Yeah, we'll say 34. That's fine. So if I was trying to get up there... Well, I could get here in like 4 seconds or something, 5 seconds. But if I was trying to get 23... I'd have to go all the way up here. I'd have to not fail that jump. We'll just subtract like 2 seconds or something. I guess this would be fine if this was smokable. Pretty sure it is. I'm sure there's like some lineup you can do somewhere. There's like an 8-second rotation or something to get up here with an op. Or to get here with an op, which would be more likely. Because it's quicker. And there's no real like reward to doing that. So I feel like there should be some way for CTs to get up here. And also for obviously like rotating Ts. Like one of the things I was thinking about is portals. One of the things I was thinking about is there's like a really obnoxious... Well, there's no like grenade collision or whatever, but as you can see, there's no way for me to jump up here. If I could jump up here, you could even like move this further back and make it so that it's a skill jump to get up there. And then once you do that, you can jump up there. Because I feel like... Yeah, there's no collision here. Okay, so if I feel like if I'm able to get up here, maybe there's like another skill jump I can do. Or if you wanted to just lower the complexity of it, you wouldn't have to do that. You just make it so that there's like some way to get from here to there, I guess. That might cause too much of a ruckus, but my idea is that somehow by doing a skill jump or by doing something skillfully, competently, you're able to get up here as a CT. And I don't know if it would give them too much of an advantage. I don't really know. I think the balance is pretty precarious right now. Not that I've seen it played by like high-level people or anything. Just played it with bots myself a few times. But I feel like if you were to open this area up, even if this was just an area where you could like, there's like a single crate or something you could crouch behind, maybe, that would give you something to deal with over here, and then you could move that van with a little bit less consequence. I don't know. That seems a little complicated, though. That might be a little overcomplicated. So maybe this is dead open the way it is, but it's a cross for over here. So T's, they can rush over here and say, hey, they're crossing in this open area. And so you would have to smoke it off as a CT and hold it, or you would have to, walk up, just have one guy holding the angle. Cool, I got an op. One guy holding the angle here, which is like obviously a really quick rotation. Or maybe he would come up on here, since this is an angle you can hold. Can the T's come out of here? Yeah, probably, right? Or maybe not. Oops. Come on. So this is wall bangable. Maybe this should be... Oh, hold on. Maybe I spoke too soon. There's no way I make this. Holy shit, you can do that! That's awesome. All right, that was the first try, too. So if you're skilled as a T, you can actually rotate through here and, like, just peek this guy over here. It makes a pretty loud noise, so it's not very obvious, but... I mean, it is very obvious, but I still think it's pretty cool. Maybe if that window's already blown out, that interferes with grenades, I know, but there should be some way to do that without, like, making as much noise. So maybe there's, like, cushion on the top of the van or something. Somewhere to, like, actually reward that, make that a legitimate play, but I don't know. It might just be too much minutia. I still think for sure, I feel very strongly about my suggestion about this, where you're able to like somehow cross into that upper area. Because think about the angles you hold as a T, right? You come up here, you can actually just hold this, right? This is cool that you can like climb up here. I mean, it's very risky, right? Because you move really slowly. But you can do that. If you're like worried about the guy thinking that you're back here, you might be able to surprise him and do this. I guess it's pretty slow, and you're also falling down. So maybe not. Maybe there could be some tweaking there, right? But like as the guy here, right? Oh, okay. He can't even see you. So when can he see you? Wow, he can't see you until you're like way over here, I guess. Right, so I come up here as a T. I mean a CT. I see the T's rotating up. Okay. So I'm just thinking about, like, the angles. That might actually be a better angle for the CTs than it is for the Ts. I guess it's whoever, like, wins the op duel, but I feel like this is actually... This is a headshot angle, for sure. Oh, you can actually... You might be able to crouch. Hold on. I must investigate. So you have... Where was I? I was right here. I'm stuck. Okay. Don't stuck me. Okay. Maybe he's stuck now. You just get out of my way, will you? Okay, so I want to see something because I don't want to do that. I want to see... Okay. So he's right there, right? So I can actually crouch and then kill him. Or maybe I can crouch all the way over here and then peek him here. That might be something I can do. But I don't know if you can see me on the other side there, right? So let me get the right key, and then let's do, where is he? P, and then bot, crouch. See what happens. Okay. I sort of saw him for a second there, yeah. Okay, so if I'm here, I can see him. But it's a lot harder, because I'll be thinking he's like up here. Well, maybe not. This is like a headshot angle anyways, so this is pretty, Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like maybe there's not really a good way to do that without like moving the wall back further. Wow, that's some inaccuracy. I think it's probably fine. Like I guess if he were further back, where am I? I guess if he were further back, it might not result in the same thing. Let's see. Let's try that. I'm spending a lot of time on this particular thing, but okay, so it's a lot harder. I'm still getting stuck here. You might want to move one of these boards over. Yeah, you could still see that guy, but if he's all the way back there, yeah, so since you're starting to slope downward, this guy's a lot harder to see. And I don't know if that means he can see you from there, right? If I am this man, if I'm inside him. Lewd. Okay. So let me just move a guy here, and this will be the last thing I do over here, unless I see something else interesting. So again, I'm moving this person. Come on. Out you go. All right, and I'm crouching, and I'm not seeing anybody. Okay. So yeah, I think that's a better headshot angle for this guy, right? Because he can see that area, but not by much. So maybe that doesn't need to happen then. Maybe what could happen is that this door, instead of being right opposite, like it makes sense for like an actual realistic layout, but maybe there's like another way in to this room with another jump, or I don't really know what it would be. It's cool though, whatever it is. Hold on, Molotov. I wanted to say something else, and that was something that I noticed while I was testing, is that I meant to like bounce the Molotov off, not like that, but to actually do something with it. But when I threw it, it blows up on this little ridge here. So I don't know if you can make that reflective so that it doesn't do that as much, but it's like pretty easy to replicate. Or maybe not. Might be making a fool of myself. Yeah, I don't know. Just for those edge cases. This is the first time I ever threw a Molotov on the map, and it happened, so I figured I would bring it up. So there's a lot of moving parts in this map, I guess. Like, not literally, but this is fine not being pathable, I think. The most you could do is like open this window and make it so that people could walk out here and like move some of the foliage over. But then that's like a crazy... I guess that might actually be a good solution because, again, in order to cross into this room, they have to cross over here anyways. So if they smoke it off and buy themselves some time and then peek here, you don't know if they're going to peek there or if they're going to peek here. Like, the main idea is to make it so that operas can't just dominate the map by peeking one angle. But maybe that's the intent. I don't know. Obviously, you could just smoke it off. You can flash it off. Like, there's other solutions other than changing the entire fundamental locus of the map. But I'm expecting, like, you know, if you just extended this wall back further and you move these trees around, might make for a cool angle or like a back entrance into here, which is another angle anyways. But even so, they still have to go through this like headshot dead zone area, right? So it doesn't really fix the problem if there is in fact a problem. Hey, they get better TV than I do. So I guess the only other thing to talk about is like the excuse me, the CT rotations to the areas. They definitely have a much harder time getting up there because it takes them a lot longer to get to this point, at which point it takes them I don't know how long. So bottom line is this is a cool little hiding spot, and it adds more value to this spot. You might even be able to like extend the cover over a little bit, just a tiny bit, to make it a little bit more preferable. Obviously it can be mollied, right? You can I guess you could probably, like, if you were able to get up here as a CT, you'd just be able to run and throw. Would that reach it? No, I don't know if that's even possible. Maybe you can't. What if you can't jump? Oh, I'm dying. Come on, expire, you idiot. All right, well that didn't work. So I think It's probably fine if it isn't mollyable, but it might be too broken. Maybe you make it so that you can throw shit through one of these windows or something, but it's blocked off from gunfire, or it's wall bangable. Even if it's just wall bangable, then you can just... It probably is wall bangable, actually. You can just do something like this, but from up here. So yeah, I definitely think that if you bring this over here, then the CTs have more of a way into this area, which I guarantee you will not be used too often. That's not a money back guarantee. Don't sue me. But I feel like this hostage site is like going to be ignored. It's harder to reach from the CTs in terms of a time investment. There's going to be less action over there because the CTs have very few pathways. They actually only have one pathway into that area. Can you skill jump over here? You can. Okay, so this might be another way. This is cool. I like that there's a lot of skill jumps, actually. I probably haven't even found them all. But the idea that you can skill jump from... Oh, wow, you made it even easier for noobs like me. That's very nice of you. So the idea that you can skill jump over here means that if, you know, you shut this door, or they have the door shut, and you're like, oh, shit, I gotta go and clutch. And you can come up here and, like, simple them or something, but... Nice bed. I don't know. That makes a lot of noise as well, just like the other skill jump that we found, so... Well, I think that if you add in this route... The problem I could see is that CTs have an easier time getting a hostage and then leaving. But they don't really, because they have to come in through all the way here. If you change nothing about this room and just make it so that they connect here, then CTs have to walk all the way up here after getting up there. Then they have to get the hostage. They pick up the hostage. Pressing E doesn't work when the prompt is because CSGO is playable. Then they walk all the way back out. At this point, you know that they're there, right? So you're probably like taking an engagement at this door. You know, you walk in here, he's taking the hostage in a stealthy location, then he walks out and you gun him down. Like, there's actually no way out of this room besides this door, right? So you could, like, you know, you come in here and you'd be like, oh, he's in there, huh? And then you Molotov him. I deliberately missed on purpose, I promise. And, you know, you actually Molotov him accurately. I feel like that's actually really good. I feel like that would make the map more interesting because it's a much riskier way, even though it's faster. Like, it's very telegraphed. So that might actually work out a lot. I also think that there's room to explore hostage with the concept of, like, making it so that the most of the gameplay of the map is actually after the hostage is taken, or that there's the option for that. So you know how you have like 2 bomb sites on a diffusal map. Well, one bomb site can be CT-sided and the other one can be T-sided, or one can be favored for close range combat and the other for long range combat. Well, you could have this guy here, this hostage, favored for quicker extractions, meaning that more of the gameplay is over here, which means that you can do a little bit more work with this area maybe. I don't really know what you would do besides, like, obviously, like, making this an actual pathway means that, you know, Ts have more of an incentive to be here. But, so that creates more gameplay purpose to this, right? Because, like, if you think about it with assets and pathways, right? Like, an asset is, like, your objective or your spawn. And then a pathway is where to go from one to the other. And, like, high-value pathways connect multiple pathways or multiple assets. I don't know. This might be too complicated. But the point is, like, this pathway, or this isn't a pathway right now, but just this whole area, I don't think CTs would really want to rush here. So it kind of devalues the point of this. But if they want to get up here, it gives them a reason to expose themselves to that angle, which gives the Ts a reason to go there, which gives the CTs a reason to hold that angle and take gunfights there. So all of a sudden, just by adding this pathway, you've added in more gameplay here, and you've added in more gameplay here. And so there's infinitely more value to these areas. Like, this is a really cool outdoor area. I really like what you did with the art. I didn't really mention that. Like I said, this color scheme might not be great, but, I mean, inside I think it's really cool. Outside is kind of bland. But inside it's pretty nice. And I just think looking at this, like, it would be so cool to have... I think it would be neat to have gunfights here. Like, you're pretty exposed over here, and then over here you can, like, hide more completely, but it's wallbangable, so it's risky, and they might just, like, you know, check this area by wallbanging you, just thinking that you might be there. Like, there's all sorts of different possibilities, and you might even be able to, like, board up one of these here, so that CTs can hold the angle and peek out, but then get wallbanged or something like that. I don't know. You could do something like that. But again, it incentivizes a different kind of play style. So people who are going to be more likely to just grab this hostage and run creates more gameplay on this platform, this like little rooftop, then down here again in CT spawn towards the extraction zone. I like the extraction zone is so small, by the way. I feel like it fits the idea of the map, like it's in no man's land. And I like that you made it so that you can like hide behind here and shotgun people. That's pretty cool too. Although of course that can be mollied if for some godforsaken reason they have a molly that late into the round. But yeah, you know, I might just be talking about my ass, and there might actually be a skill jump to get up here. But no, I don't think so. So, yeah, the whole talk earlier about like comparing it to two different defusal type areas, like two different bomb sites, where one of them has more of a long range focus, or one of them is better for T's or whatever. Like this making this more accessible. This is a quicker rescue. But this is a safer rescue. This exposes you to a lot of shit over here. And even once you're over here, once you're grabbing the hostage, it gives the other guys time to rotate over. Like they see you they get information on you, then they can adapt. They see that you're missing, but they don't hear you over here in this area. They don't hear you. They don't see you over here when they like check this, or from up here. That you're exposing yourself as soon as you open this door, right? And they might even be in here anyways. So it doesn't make it OP for the CTs, I don't think. But it doesn't give them more tools. I feel like neither team really has an abundance of tools. T's are probably a little bit more favored, but maybe not. Maybe not by much anyways. I like also that you can pop all these windows. So yeah, this is like more safe to get, but requires more map control. This requires you to aim duel your way out of every situation, basically, if you add those changes in. So I think that's a pretty good spot. Pretty good idea anyways that I had. All my talk of this is basically like the closest thing to a mid your map has, and I like it in the sense that there's a couple of different ways that people can approach it, but again, maybe you want to try out this strategy where you expand this out. I think that it would look cool aesthetically as well, and really add a little bit more of an identity to the map, where it really does feel like you're in this, like, this is a really pretty map. Just the outlook, and I think the skybox is okay too. Yeah, there's like a lot of cool stuff in here. Like it's very impressive visually, I think, and giving me more of an opportunity to like be one with nature as I'm gunning down people in cold blood would be really cool. And I think an interesting identity. Really, the only map that we have that's like that, that's like off the top of my head, is Insertion, and it's like really heavy on the fog, so you don't really get too much time to be in there. Although I guess it's rocky areas do count, but I don't know. I like the fact that it's like there, but right now it's like really far away. Like, can we even jump up here? Oh, we can. Okay. But we just can't jump over here. Plants, we're allergic to plants. But I think making it so that you can sort of walk through over here. Again, I would move this stuff so that for readability issues. But making it so that we can walk through the jungle a little bit more, walk through the forest, rather, a little bit more would be neat and would add to the map's identity, I think, both aesthetically, thematically, but also just like add another toolkit for the T's if they're being dealt with an oppressive opera. They flashbang him, and instead of just, you know, now quickly, oh, run into one of these rooms, you know, they just cross over here, right? And that's why I was like drawing a comparison to mid, because like I feel like, you know, you try to cross as T's or as CT's if it's dust to you know, you cross mid. Well, there's a cross that you can do there. So I would say connect these. Maybe investigate something like what I was suggesting for here. Alternatively, like I said, you could open this up, which might be too much changes to this, too much added gameplay over here. Because again, then this area is probably underutilized, which is why I'm suggesting like making it more about here. Like I don't think that you should be able to enter this room from this side, but being able to peek it, but also losing intel on the hostage. That's like why I'm thinking that that's a really good idea. And maybe making it so that again you move this around a little bit, perhaps. Maybe you keep it where it is, and just make it so that this skill jump is more rewarded, so that it doesn't offer too much noise. I don't know what you would do about this skill jump. I figure it's probably pretty niche anyways. Well, maybe not. It's probably more ubiquitous than I'm making it out to be. But yeah. The only other area that I haven't really talked too much about is this inner area. The pool area, there's like no point to this pool besides like a scenery, like a set piece, I guess. I don't really know what you would do. I guess if you're saving or something, you might be in here. But even then, can we exit? We cannot exit. So maybe add a second one of these over here, so it's a bit more boarded up, just to psychologically de-stress the player. I like that you can come up here, because then you can like op down here or whatever. You can come up and crouch and op, and it'll be a different angle than just wide peeking here or like coming out here a bit closer to the van. So that's cool. I think that's fine for T-spawn. I mean, T-spawn, it's going to be like more of a connector as opposed to like an active war zone or whatever, like a strategic point. So that's fine. But for... where's my mag 7? There you go. For this area, I don't think that there's too much gameplay in taking gunfights here because obviously CTs are going to have a faster rotate over here. But obviously Ts that see that there's no CT towards the van are going to assume that they're up there if you make that change. Or at the very least, they're over here. So they can rotate through there. That's fine. I think in general, if there's going to be gunfights... Wow, that's some bulletproof glass. I guess there would be here. I like that it's opening up the option for close range. I just don't see how useful it is, like how much it's going to be utilized. But I don't really have any ideas for how to improve it. I just think that maybe... I like the fact that this is like a strong position. Obviously could be mollied. What would that molly look like anyways? Not that. I'm trying to think of like if I'm in this other side here. Okay, that's not really it either. Can it be mollied without, you know, speaking English, without making yourself vulnerable, exposing yourself? That's the word I was looking for. Now, I guess it might not be able to. So maybe add something like a prop on that wall that people can molly, but at the same time, they can also like flash. They can just... This is a scary angle to peek, I think. It could be an opper over here, or just a rifler over here, waiting at this angle. Pretty safe, too. What the fuck? Pretty safe, too, because, again, there's no... I don't think you can skill jump the other way. That might be a way to compensate for the fact that this is so noisy, is making it so that CTs can also go through. So then it's not a disadvantage for either team. You know, it's not an advantage for either team. It makes a lot of noise either way because you're like bouncing on this, and then you're bouncing through and smashing the window. So, yeah. I like that idea. I like the fact that, the idea that this could be a skill jump for CTs as well somehow. But it would have to be an actual skill jump, like really hard. Like harder than this was, and much harder than this was. Because CTs get here a lot faster, so... At least that's my estimation, obviously. Trying to think if there's anything else that I would do. Because I already think that this area is pretty neat. I guess you could... You could peek like this. Rifle. Or you could peek like... This is probably a safer spot, obviously, because you can then... You can do all sorts of cool stuff, like you can... You peek down here, and then you just peek out this way. And actually hit the shot, unlike me. So, that's pretty good. I don't know. I think that this area is sort of meh right now, but I haven't played enough to really know. This room might be... Well, this is, again, just like a connector. I wonder if it might be too noisy. This confused me, this ladder thing. And I know I say I'm a retard, but I actually don't believe that, so... Might consider... It's also pretty low res. I might consider, like, swapping that out. And generally speaking, some of the props, I think, in this room, or in this whole area, were like low, like height level, or eye level, or whatever. Maybe consider moving this on top of here. Oh, I'm stuck. Well, I can get off anyways. So you actually can be up here. I don't know if this is intentional. It's very hard to get down. Maybe shrink this down so that it is more of a an actual spot. And then you can watch this entrance from the the back entrance with a shotgun from this boost area, the self boost. I'm not sure. I don't know. This area is also pretty hard to walk around on, or maybe it's just that area. What is it? No. What the? Am I getting ejected? Oh, it's this light. So maybe move this light if you're going to have this be here. I guess this is here because... Well, what is even the point of it? You'd probably want to be here. Shoot. Fall back. Tarek. I don't know. I guess that's probably it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a good spot. I mean, you might want to move one of those lights because of this area. You might want to make this easier to jump up on. Well, not to jump up on because it's obviously easy enough. You just crouch jump. But easier to move. I don't know if these props have collision. Or if it's the wire, or if it's just the height level. But if you could... Well, this is like a lowered wall anyways. So maybe you just shrink it like a couple units so that it's easier for people to walk around. Or just to get into position. It can be hard to get out of position, but if it's easier to get into that position, I think it's fine. Like if it's really arduous and slow to move out, then it's just like Mirage, right? The underpass area, dark. So I think that's pretty good. It's a really cool map, honestly. I wasn't expecting this level of quality out of a hostage map, so you really changed my perspective. I don't know how I feel about back here. I think it's probably mostly for scenery, but I appreciate the fact that we're able to move around here. I think readability was a concern on a few instances, like if I'm a CT standing here, pretty hard to see me, especially if I'm, well, yeah, if I'm just here, just I would say careful on that. But I don't really know if it's really that big of a deal because CTs aren't going to be there while being looked at by other players, by Ts very often. But yeah, and as a side note, I would like a crow here. I heard one. I'd like a crow pecking on this table and to be able to spray this table. And that's it.